Today, I'm going to walk you through how to play the B by Schubert. I'm going to walk you through some tips and tricks and how to make it sound really accurate. So here you go. So starting from the very beginning, the first most important thing to look at is the very first measure. You're going to notice that all of those notes right there are within a half step of each other. So the B to C natural is a half step, and then the B to the A sharp is also a half step. Making sure that your first note B is super in tune, and then kind of making sure that the two notes either on either side, below and above, are exact half steps. So you're making sure that on both sides, they're really tight half steps next to each other, like that. Notice that the first measure, or the first figure, I should say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, are the same notes then we have another group of notes. Same thing. A sharp in third position you're going to shift to. This is the second measure. You're going to shift to third position in the second measure, A sharp with a 2. And know that the next note B is a half step away from that. A sharp, also known as B flat. B and B flat or A sharp are half steps. So those are half steps. The next group, B to C natural, are also half steps. So now instead of your second finger being the main note and making your half steps around that, now your third finger actually is going to be the one that you're going to revolve the half steps around. So your third finger B is a half step from your A sharp and is a half step from your C natural. Know that the next group is the same thing except it's 1 octave higher. So now you're still in third position for the group A sharp to B. And those are all half steps as well. A sharp to B to C natural. Okay. So we're really dealing with a lot of half steps here, making sure that they're really close, and half steps must be touching in your fingers. As you go up the fingerboard, your half steps get even closer together. So really make sure that when you get to the A string in third position, that your half steps are nice and close. Okay, so let's play the first maybe line and a measure. So the first 4 measures, making sure that all your half steps are really, really close. So first thing, find your B. Get your other fingers in place. You're going to just be revolving around that B, second finger, and the half steps around it. Here we go. Shift to third position for your A sharp. Get your A sharp in place. Get your B half step next to it, and then know that your C natural is coming next. Go. Third position still A sharp. And that's the first 4 measures. Let's try it one time without stopping. Ready, set, go. All right, great. Now, really, the piece begins. That's kind of what we would say that maybe the introduction a little bit. It still moves very chromatically, so you really have to make sure that you're using what you know or where you know your fingers go to help you make sure that you're playing in tune. So let's start right at the tranquillo. Starts in third position. Again, the first group and the second group, B to C natural to A sharp, those are all, again, half steps. So really making sure that those are really very clear. The first time you have a whole step in this measure, or actually in the whole piece, is between the third and fourth group, B to A natural. And that's when we start our descending line. So let's try right at the tranquillo, making sure your half steps are super tight. Ready, set, go. Now you're gonna move a whole step. Move your first finger down. You see that? A to B is a whole step. Shift to first position. These are whole steps now. Half steps. When you're coming down that descending line, make sure D sharp is nice and high, but C natural is nice and low. It's more than a whole step. It's a whole step and a half step. So that's a really far stretch. Okay, be careful of that. So as you can see, it's obviously moving not all chromatically anymore. Now we have a little bit more of a tune going on, but still making sure that within each group that your half steps are nice and tight. Starting at the tranquillo one more time. We'll kind of keep going a little bit more. Ready, set, go. Whole step. Shift to third position here. 4, 3 is at 4 and 3 are half steps. 2 is going to be a whole step. Now we work in half steps again. D sharp to E, whole half step. So 1 and 2 are half steps. 2 and 3 are whole steps at this point, and 3 and 4 are going to be half steps. Half steps. These are half steps. Now, if you just notice, I just played the D sharp to E to D sharp, but know that the next group, A, B, A, is still in third position, but your A is simply straight across the street, or straight across the string, if you will, A, B, A. Okay, so it's not, you don't have to do any crazy shifting or crazy movement of your finger. Just take your second finger from where you just had it and move it over to the D string right across from it to make sure it's in tune. So here I'll play D sharp, E, D sharp. Just move your second finger over. And know that A, B, A, those are whole steps. Let's keep going. The next measure, G, A, G, those are whole steps. E, F sharp, E, those are whole steps. Move your 1 up to G sharp, A, G sharp, which are half steps now. Whole steps. Open, see that weird symbol, the 0 or the O means open A. Here's a A sharp, B flat, same note. Now you're going to go to third position. D sharp. Two, three, one. First position, 4-2 open. And just this scales down. And that's probably a good spot to stop for right now. There's a lot of specific things that you should go back and watch in this video and play again. Right now, I'll just play from the beginning to that point so that you can have a little practice time. But definitely go back and watch this video again and get all those specific shifts, all the specific intonation things that I talked about. And as far as bowing goes, at this stage, don't worry too much about the bowing. That's something that we can add later back A couple other tips that you can really make sure that you're doing is, one, make sure that you are trying to keep your fingers down as much as possible. In a lot of places, like on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth line down, if you keep your 2 down and you keep your 1 down, all you have to do is in that section B, F sharp, D sharp, all you have to do is lifting up your third finger. And it's way easier to keep those notes in tune if you keep your fingers down rather than trying to pick them up and find it the same location each time you pick them up. So keep your fingers down in there. It's much easier than trying to find that location each time. And notice that it might not be the same location each time, or might not be the same intonation each time. So that's definitely something that you also want to watch out for. It doesn't hurt to add dynamics in at this point either when you're starting to learn something, because it's just one more thing that you'd have to go back and add later on. So pay close attention to not only the notes that you're playing, the positions that you're in, but everything around them too. Things on the top, accents or other things. Things on the bottom, dynamics, sforzandos, decrescendos, things like that. Articulations, bowing articulations. Though you're not doing the bow directions, the articulations can also still be added in at this point as well. I hope that helps. And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll get the updates when I add more. Hope you enjoy Schubert the Bee.